What is up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 4 of the Slide Job podcast. Today, I am once again on my own, and if you guys are wondering why we're doing this only 2 days since episode 3, because this is the only day that I have the time, and I don't really have the time. But, we're going to go ahead and recap Daytona 500, and let's get right into it. So, obviously, Denny Hamlin won, and while I'm not the biggest Denny Hamlin fan, I'm not complaining because obviously it was for uh, JD Gibbs, and I'm glad to see him kind of be uh, I don't know, remembered or celebrated. I guess would be a better word by his number winning the championship. But looking at the rest of the field as I'm looking up the results right now. Daniel obviously won. Kyle Busch got second. Eric Jones third. So that's a 1-2-3 for Joe Gibbs. Joey Logano got fourth. Michael McDowell got fifth. Ty Dillon sixth. Kyle Larson seventh. Ryan Preece eighth. Jimmy Johnson ninth. And Ross Chastain gets 10th in the number 15 car, but only running part time, so it doesn't really matter. Alex Bowman got 11th. Brad Keselowski got 12th, despite really being non-existent the entire race. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got 13th. Ryan Newman 6th. Parker Kligerman 15th. Just wanted to shout him out for getting that spot. And then Chase Elliott 17th, did not finish. Corey LaJoy somehow was running and got 18th. Clint Boyer 20th. Jamie Mack in his final NASCAR race finishes 22nd. William Byron 21st. Kurt Busch 25th. Kevin Harvick 26th. Tyler Reddick, I don't know why I pointed him out, but he got 27th. Matt DiBenedetto 28th, which we will talk about him in a little bit. Blaney 31st. And just Martin Truex in 35th. That's really it there for the notables. But all in all, it was a pretty good race. Definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and it kind of, it was refreshing, and it gave me a lot of hope for this week. And speaking of this week, I want to point out that, excuse me, NASCAR did make headlines on national TV because of the JD Motorsports, JD Gibbs story and the 11 winning. So maybe, just maybe, that we'll be able to get a couple people coming to watch the Atlanta race, or not going to Atlanta, but watching on their TVs. And maybe that means the ratings will go up, and hopefully Atlanta is a great race. And if Atlanta is a great race, those people who came because of the JD Gibbs story, they might stay. They might become not unfortunately a Joe Gibbs fan, but or maybe they become another person's fan, or everyone's a race's fan. That really could open up the whole feel good story. Could open up new or more viewership. That's always good, and I could be over exaggerating, but it's definitely a possibility. Another story is Matt DiBenedetto. He's obviously really just been sitting in a bottom feeder for really most of his career, and he's finally gotten in that 95, who really wasn't good, but they were better than the 32. And then now they're with Joe Gibbs and Toyota, and now they're looking to be really fast. Hopefully Furniture fast, but I won't get too ahead of myself here. And but that is kind of maybe a storyline heading into Atlanta. Will Matt DiBenedetto be able to compete in the top 15, top 10, or maybe even for a win? Who knows? Denny Hamlin obviously is going to be kind of a storyline as he won the race. So is he going to be able to repeat? Is he going to kind of fall back, or is he just going to kind of, I don't know. Because if you see with Austin Dillon and Kurt Busch, they both, well, Austin Dillon kind of has an excuse, but Kurt Busch, he just kind of disappeared for the rest of the season, did not win another race, made the playoffs, and was out in the first round. So is Denny Hamlin going to have one of those seasons, or is this going to give him the nudge he needed to go out there and win 3 and 5 races and maybe even a championship this year? And that is something that we will continue to see if he's able to do that throughout the season, obviously. And now with the package, that's the to a casual fan, maybe not, but to most fans that have been around and know what the package is and what it means, it's huge. It's the biggest storyline heading in to this weekend, and it's going to be the biggest storyline really all season. I mean, I don't really. I mean, unless somebody crazy starts going out there and winning races, it's not going to be the biggest story. It's going to be the package. How is it going to race at Atlanta? How is it going to race at Las Vegas? How is it going to race at Auto Club? How is it going to race at all these different tracks? So my prediction, I don't know. I heard Daryl Waltrip, I believe it was, say, "Is this going to be the kind of racing we see with this new package?" And I can guarantee you, it will not. It will not be that crazy. There will not be that much. But he does have a point. Will it be pack racing? I think this is what he really meant. But he kind of worded it in a way you're thinking, "Oh, is it just going to be a bunch of wrecking?" No, I don't think it will be yet. But I do think, obviously, we will see cars closer together, battling for um, just really just going. You'll see, and while it won't be side by side pack racing like we saw, I think it'll be more of a momentum pack racing. You'll see, maybe a group of guys in the front at one point, and then they might fall off a little bit, and then another group of guys at the front, and just kind of moving through, and you'll see cars going. You'll see maybe Matty Benedetto. Maybe he starts in like 13th. He goes up to 5th, and then he just kind of falls off, and then you see Brad Keselowski, who was really in the front. He kind of fell off, and then he kind of figured it out, and he's right there in the front with everybody else. So that is definitely what I kind of see it as. But again, we don't know until we see the full 40 car field, and that's one thing. A lot of people assume the Daytona 500 would be pretty boring. So I think there was really only one time I could really say it was boring single file racing, and then a caution came out and kind of ended that. Um, so I think we need to see the race. I think Daytona really proved a point. Yeah, when you have a test session with 15 cars, 15 cars, it's going to be different from when you have all 40 cars on the track racing for a win. I think, and once again, test session, they're not going to try as hard. I can guarantee you they were giving below 50% at the test session. They were just going there because maybe their owner told them to, or maybe they were kind of curious, but they weren't giving it their all. And I think you'll see a huge difference in the race, and it'll be a lot more interesting. You'll see guys making aggressive moves. People like maybe Matty Benedetto or Austin Dillon who don't have as good equipment. Maybe you'll see them kind of get their way there because of their skill. Because I don't know about Austin Dillon, but Matty Benedetto is outskilled. He's outskill of his car. Maybe not now in the 95, but definitely in the 32. So maybe you'll see more of the skill-oriented guys in the front because they're able to weave through the field. They're able to drive the track correctly, even though it's kind of easier, obviously, or it is easier. I think you're going to see more of the guys who are able to get the runs, able to find the draft, able to drive, have more all-around skill in the front. And I don't think we will see that much difference, but you'll see more, maybe the gap between Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott isn't as far as it was on the other package. Maybe I think this engine does kind of level it out for the competition, but I mean it does. That's obvious. But yeah, that is the biggest storyline heading into this weekend, next weekend, and every weekend for the foreseeable future. And there isn't really much you can take from Daytona and say, "Oh, this guy's going to be a championship contender." There isn't anything you can take from that. I mean, Michael McDowell finished 5th. I mean, you can't until you see him go out there in Atlanta and get a top 10, Las Vegas get a top 10. You can't say he's going to be a playoff contender, and it's very unlikely that he will be. I mean, I hate to down him, but I think Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, those tracks are really his only shot. So that is one thing about Daytona that I don't like. Like yeah, this is Daytona. I enjoy the racing. It's close, but it's like I want to see what I have to expect from the new package, and that kind of maybe bored it a little bit, especially with the Red flags. I mean, they were very long, and that is one killer for NASCAR. Is it's your biggest race, but you're going what, an hour over your scheduled time. I mean, that is something that could really hurt NASCAR if they're trying to get people's interest back. I'm not saying they should shorten the races, and they're doing it because of driver safety. I'm just pointing that out. Now it is Daytona, and it's less likely you're going to see a red flag at Atlanta, Las Vegas, but it is still possible. And I think really for NASCAR's viewership to go up, because like I said earlier, with the JD Gibbs feel good story, there are going to be more viewers along with people interested in the new package. These next three races have to be good. They have to be entertaining throughout. And I know that's a high bar to set, but if you let's say you're not into hockey, and the first three hockey games you watch completely boring, maybe they don't score, maybe one team completely dominates. Are you going to want to watch hockey? Are you going to be more inclined to watch hockey than if all three of them go into overtime or close close matches? And that's one thing that we got to think about. When we enjoy it because we're racing fans. We don't care, or we do kind of care, but we aren't. We're still going to watch either way, But your average Joe over here, he doesn't have specific reason to watch until he gets hooked. So that's just kind of I was beneficial. I was the beneficiary of the Jimmy Johnson era where he dominated, but it's still fairly close racing, I would say. I really I don't know why. I just enjoyed it, and here I am now talking about it. But talking about now, moving on to kind of some smaller topics that we're going to end it up. Uh, Matt DiBenedetto showed a lot of speed, and again, like I said earlier, it is Daytona, but kind of a wishful thinking for me, and really a big storyline for me going into this weekend is Matt DiBenedetto going to be as fast as the other Toyotas, the Chevys, and the Ford. Is he going to be able to compete on an intermediate track? And I hope he does. He's definitely a top 5 favorite driver for me. I would say he's probably be Chase, Blaney, Bubba, and Matt DiBenedetto. So hopefully he's able to do well. And the reason this podcast isn't as long is I kind of need to get going. So I apologize for that. There will be longer ones in the future, but this is the only time frame. I don't really have the time to be doing this. This is really the only time frame for me this week, and Caleb, he doesn't have any time at all. So next week, hopefully, I should have an open Saturday, but there will be other posts during the week. So yeah, that's really all I got for you guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and once again, I am Paul. We will get better with this. We'll get longer episodes. We'll try and get some interesting stuff. But this one, I just kind of wanted to talk about the Daytona 500 because I'm not going to be able to remotely get a podcast out. Sit down and do a podcast. There will be other videos throughout the week, but they were, at least one of them was pre-recorded. I don't know if I'll get the other one up, but yeah. And the other ones will just be quick little talk about videos. So I will see you guys in the next one. Once again, I apologize for being so short, and then peace out.